The parents of a Mississippi teenager are demanding answers following his death. Nolan Wells took a 4th of July boat trip to a barrier island off the coast with his friends, but he never made it home.
That is somebody's child. We are tired. Do you hear me? We're tired. When one of us die, we all mourn the loss. That's somebody's baby that's not coming home, that they have to bury.
He walked onto that island with his friends. 2 days later, he was pulled from the water alone. And right now, tonight, nobody can tell his mother why. His name was Nolan Wells, 18 years old, a wide receiver with a scholarship and a future. And on the 4th of July, 2026, he vanished on a strip of sand off the coast of Mississippi, surrounded by people who called him a friend. Before we go any further, if you're new here, hit subscribe and tap that bell icon, because shadow crime breaks down cases like this one as they unfold, and you do not want to miss what happens next in this story. Okay, let's get into it. Nolan grew up in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. If you know anything about him, you know he wasn't the kind of kid who caused problems. His coaches describe him as humble, hardworking, the kind of teammate who lifted other people up instead of tearing them down. His principal called him a leader, not just on the field, but in the classroom too. He had just finished his freshman year playing wide receiver for Southwest Mississippi Community College, and he was supposed to head back to campus that Monday to start training camp for the upcoming season. On July 3rd, the night before everything changed, Nolan cooked dinner for his parents. Baked salmon. His mother, Christine, had a long day at work, and he wanted to do something nice for her. After dinner, he told her he was heading to a friend's house to get ready for the holiday. She remembers exactly what he said. "Hey, Mom, I'm about to go. I love you." A hug, a kiss, and then he was gone. The next day, July 4th, Nolan and a group of his high school friends loaded onto a boat and headed out to Horn Island. Now, if you've never heard of it, Horn Island is this wild, untouched stretch of land about 10 miles off the Mississippi coast. No buildings, no cell service, no lifeguards. Just sand, pine trees, and water on every side. It's the kind of place people go to escape everything, for a few hours at least. And it wasn't unusual for Nolan to go there. He'd made that trip before. But this time, something was different. In the photos from that day, you can see Nolan standing tall above his friends, arms slung around their shoulders, smiling for the camera like any other teenager on a summer afternoon. But if you look closely, he's the only black face in that entire group. Nobody thought anything of it that afternoon. It was just a group of friends on a boat, celebrating a holiday, the same way people do every single year on that island. But by that night, one of those friends would be the one calling for help. Not because they'd found Nolan, because he was already gone. And that's where this story takes a turn nobody in that family was prepared for.
The parents of a Mississippi teenager are demanding answers following his death. Nolan Wells took a 4th of July boat trip to a barrier island off the coast with his friends, but he never made it home. Our Meg Oliver joins us with more. Meg, good morning.
Adriana, good morning. The family says the possibility that their son accidentally drowned and was somehow separated from his cell phone and keys does not add up.
We just want to know what happened and why our baby didn't come home.
On July 4th, 18-year-old Nolan Wells took a boat trip with a group of friends to Horn Island off the Mississippi Gulf Coast. But the college football player never returned home. Police say he chose to stay behind.
So hard for me to believe that he would choose to stay on the island. It just wasn't his character. It wasn't his character.
Wells' mother reported him missing that night. 2 days later, a park ranger found his body in the water on the island's northwest corner. Wells' parents revealed they tracked down his keys and cell phone at the home of a friend and immediately went to his Snapchat.
When we opened it up, there was nothing. There were no saved pictures. There were no snaps from that day.
Authorities said they believe Wells' death was an accidental drowning, but the family's attorney, Ben Crump, says there is a video showing Wells in an argument.
You talk about this video that's out there that shows this apparent argument going on where Nolan says, "Where's my freaking phone? What are you freaking doing?" And then his phone turns up missing.
CBS News could not independently confirm that exchange, even with the help of an audio expert. His parents remain suspicious, saying he would never have left his phone and keys behind.
The Jackson County Sheriff's Department is asking the public for photos or videos taken on Horn Island that day. Meanwhile, the family had their son's body flown to Washington, D.C. for an independent autopsy. The results are expected in a couple weeks, as well as the state medical examiner's report. Ladies, the sheriff's office did not return our calls for comment.
This is just so terrifying. I mean, we grieve with this family. It's just awful, and we hope that people do turn in any photos or videos, even if they think it's not important, because there's so many questions still that need to be answered.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, they were obviously on CBS Mornings yesterday, and you can just see the hurt. I mean, we hope we have answers, but at the end of the day, their son is gone, and it's very sad.
All right, Meg, thank you so much.
Right. Here's what we know happened next, and I want you to really sit with this part, because this is where the story stops making sense. Around 3, maybe 4 in the afternoon, witnesses say Nolan was last seen on the northwest tip of Horn Island. His friend's boat had started taking on water, some kind of issue with the bilge pump, and around 4:30, they made a decision to head back to the mainland without Nolan. Now, here's the thing you have to understand. According to friends, Nolan chose to stay behind. They say he told them he wanted to talk to a young woman he'd met on the island, and that he planned to catch a ride back with another group later that evening. That's the story that's been circulating. That's what the sheriff's office has repeated. But listen to this, because it's where things start falling apart. The young woman Nolan was supposedly talking to, she told investigators something completely different. She said Nolan told her he was heading back to get on the boat with the boys. Think about that for a second. His friends say he stayed behind for her. She says he told her he was going back to them. 2 stories, pointing in opposite directions. And Nolan is the only person who could tell us which one is true, and he's not here to say it. That night, nobody heard from him. His phone was left behind, not in his pocket, not with him on the island. His phone ended up back on the mainland at one of his friends' houses. Ask yourself, would you leave your phone behind if you were planning to stay somewhere with no service, no way to call for help, no way to reach your mom? Christine didn't think so either. Around 11 that night, one of Nolan's friends called the Coast Guard to report him missing. Separately, his mother called the sheriff's office around midnight. She hadn't heard from her son, and something in her gut told her this wasn't right. She started posting on Facebook in the early hours of July 5th, begging anyone with information come forward. Please, if you're a praying person, please pray he's found alive, safe, and unharmed. But here's something that's raising eyebrows. The Coast Guard was contacted around 11 p.m. that night, yet the Jackson County Sheriff's Office didn't formally request Coast Guard assistance until around noon the next day. That's roughly 13 hours. 13 hours between the first call for help and law enforcement stepping in to search. In a situation where every single hour matters, where currents shift and tides change and a person can only survive so long in open water, that gap is something families and investigators alike are still trying to understand. Christine and her husband, Elmore, didn't wait around for answers. They got in a boat themselves that morning and searched the island with Nolan's football coach. They found nothing. By July 5th, the search had grown. The Jackson County Sheriff's Department, the Department of Marine Resources, the Gulf Islands National Seashore, the United States Coast Guard, and a volunteer group called the United Cajun Navy, made up of everyday people who dropped everything to search for the missing. For 2 days, that search continued across sand dunes, shallow water, and dense stretches of pine trees on an island where currents can pull you from 3 feet of water into 20 within a few short steps. And then on Monday morning, a National Park Service agent found something in the water that would change everything.
That is somebody's shout. We are tired. Do you hear me? We're tired. When one of us die, we all mourn the loss. That's somebody's baby that's not coming home, that they have to bury. All because of hate. All because of hate. And we keep asking, what did we do? We didn't do anything to deserve the hate that you guys brew in your hearts towards us. We don't care about any of the things that happened in the past. We just want to be united all together. We bleed the same, and we are tired. I feel for this baby and his family because he's not coming home. And I have children, and I couldn't imagine having my child not come home when I trusted him or her with their friends. We're not angry enough. We're not tired enough. And I'm tired, and I know a lot of us are tired. This is exhausting. Do you hear me? It's exhausting, and it's tiresome, and we should be tired. We should get together and do something about this because this is happening too often. It's 2026, and this is still happening, and it's not going to stop until we do something about it. No more hoping that one day they just see our value and they stop hating us. They hate us for no reason, just because we exist. So we have to come together. I feel for this baby and his family. He was only 18. He had his entire life in front of him, and it was taken in the blink of an eye. And everybody's not making sense of what happened. We need answers. We need prayers, and we need change, and we need to come together as a community because this right here has me lost for words. I'm tired, and I'm mourning for this family. I'm going into prayer for this family because we need to come together. We don't just need to pray. We need to come together and make a change. This is extremely sickening and disappointing and all of the things. And I don't come online and I don't cry online because I know that you just don't do that. But right now, I feel the need to. It's necessary because we're tired. I'm tired. My day has been shattered. I don't even want to be out doing anything. And for this to happen around my birthday month and for the 4th of July, we were celebrating. We were out having a good time, out drinking, out doing fireworks while a child was being murdered. And that's our reality. And it's going to always be the reality of this world because white choose to hate us. And no, we don't have the answers, but something's just not making sense. And I don't care what they come up with. I don't care if he was drinking and he decided to jump inside of the water. There was 3 other white boys and probably more white boys and probably more friends with him. So he should have came home because somebody should have helped him. It doesn't matter what the reason is. It's just not making sense. And I'm tired, and we are tired. Yeah, we're tired. And fuck you all. Sincerely. Because we're tired. I don't have love in my heart anymore for any of you all. And some of you guys aren't racist, but I feel like most of you guys, that shit still brews deep inside of you. I do. And I hate you back. And it's time for us to all hate you guys back. It's time for us to get angry like you guys feel for us. Sincerely.
What that park ranger found in the water that Monday morning was Nolan, face down, just off the shoreline of Horn Island. 2 days after his friends left without him. 2 days after he told someone somewhere that he was staying behind. His body was formally identified through dental records. And once that identification came back, everything that follows in this case has been one contradiction after another. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office came out and said they didn't suspect foul play. Sounds simple, right? Case closed. Tragic accident. Everybody goes home. Except that statement is exactly what set this entire case on fire. Because at the very same time, there was already a video circulating showing what looked like an argument on the island that day. A male voice can be heard on that footage saying, "Give me my freaking phone. What are you doing?" Attorney Ben Crump, who now represents the Wells family, believes that voice belongs to Nolan. Now here's where it gets messy. WXXV spoke with an eyewitness who says Nolan wasn't actually part of that argument at all. So which is it? Was Nolan caught in a heated confrontation moments before he ended up in the water? Or is that video being misread entirely? As of right now, nobody has given us a straight answer. And then there's the phone. Remember how we told you Nolan's phone ended up back at a friend's house on the mainland? Christine used Life 360 to track it down herself. When she finally got her hands on it, she noticed something that broke her heart all over again. No saved photos. No saved videos. Nothing from that day on Snapchat. For a kid who documented everything, that silence spoke louder than words. She believes messages were deleted. She just doesn't know by who or why. The sheriff's department says its detectives have interviewed close friends and eyewitnesses and, so far, have found no concrete evidence pointing to a crime. They're treating this as a death investigation, not a homicide. But even Sheriff John Ledbetter has admitted, in his own words, it's going to take a lot of hard work to get to the truth. Meanwhile, both a state autopsy and an independent autopsy, paid for by Colin Kaepernick and conducted far away in Washington, D.C., so would have no ties to Mississippi law enforcement, are still sitting there unfinished. Toxicology results pending. No official cause of death. No official manner of death. Just a grieving family standing in the dark, asking why they were told so quickly that this was probably an accident before anyone had all the facts. Christine Wansley asked it best herself. Why are we so quick to rush to this? So here's what I want you to sit with tonight. If Nolan told his friends he was staying to talk to a girl, and that same girl says he told her he was coming back to the boat, who's lying? Or is somebody just misremembering a chaotic afternoon in the middle of a holiday crowd? And if there was truly no foul play here, why does it feel like every piece of the story only raises more questions instead of answering them? We may not have the full truth yet, but we're not going anywhere until this family gets it. If this case has you thinking the way it has us thinking, drop your take in the comments below. And if you want to be here the moment new updates on Nolan Wells break, make sure you're subscribed to Shadow Crime with that bell turned on, because this story is far from over.